It's going to be a single V groove on carbon steel plate, French steel plate. Total angle going to be 60 degrees beveled, 30 degrees on one side and 30 on the other side. We're going to be doing oxy fuel cut that with bevel on an automation system. The second thing, we're going to be doing a Flux Core weld with 045 is going to be the root, and then we're going to step it up to 116 so we can get done real quick and move on. That's going to be on an ESOB 205 we're going to be doing that on. Then final is we're going to be flipping it over. And Jason's going to be doing a back gouge, because the reason we're doing back gouge because it's going to be shut all the way. We ain't going to ever get penetration. So Redbeard's going to back gouge that, and then he's going to Flux Core that out with 052 or 116. So let's get to it. First, we're going to be basically prepping the plate with a torch, oxy fuel. We're going to be setting the torch at 30 degrees. So that's how they get 60 degrees including angle, 30 and 30 right here. Then we're going to weld it up with Flux Core. So I'm just going to run 045 for the first couple passes. Then I'm going to step it up to 116 so I can weld it out pretty quickly. Then we're going to flip over the plate and we're going to do a U groove. Back gouge, like this says back gouge right here. Here's your back gouge. You can take a grinder, carbon arc, gouge it with a plasma. Today we're going to be showing you how to do it with a carbon arc automation system. So that's how we're going to do it. Then we would weld it up with Flux Core. And that's it, guys. So let's go ahead. I'll show you how to prep up the material with oxy fuel. I know tip number 2 is good to 1. So my pressure is going to be 35 to 40 on your number 2 tip. Metal warm up a little bit. We want to get cherry orange. It's almost there. You're going all the way through. Make sure you got sparks coming down the bottom, and make sure you're not touching right here. Your tones are not touching that plate. Make sure there's no gas line cords right here, nothing. You got something protecting the cement. Make sure your cords are not messed up right here, because once it starts moving, you got to pay attention to that stuff. You can see that moisture. We don't have no gouges in this. This is a good example of a perfect cut. Not to brag, but we're not overheating our metal. If you see it here on the top part, there's no overheating. Like the edge of the top of the plate would just roll over and be melted a little bit. We weren't running too slow. We wouldn't have a massive amount of wrench. So there's a couple reasons that happens. Well, metal moves all the time, and sometimes you can't clamp stuff down. Stuff's going to bow. Get about an 1/8 inch away wire. All right, we're going to tack it here on this side. We're going to walk down there and tack it. We're going to flip it over. Then they're together to get that 3/6 tack right here. So I'm going to put a big fat tack right here. Let that cool down a little bit before you release your clamp. So we got the gap out. Guys, I didn't leave no mistakes out or nothing. I didn't hide nothing off camera. This is how you fit a piece of metal together and get your mistakes out. So I like to leave everything on camera so you guys can see it and learn from my mistakes. All right, so our next step is, before we call the inspector over, the dry run and keeping your wire in the middle of the joint is going to be the best way. So I'm doing a little, and we're going to jump up to 1/16. We want that big wire to get done fast. We don't want to be spinning all day on this joint. Go ahead and just wire wheel this. All right, so we got this first pass in. We're going to switch over to 1/16 so we get moving faster. So 730 select arc, 7525, still the same stuff. We're just going to up our volts and up our amps because we're running bigger size wires. And so let's go ahead and do the change out.
All right, Mike, looks good. We're about a 1/16 inch below the surface, so we should be able to throw one more pass on there and hit that flush tape.
She's so pretty back here. Look at that snake peel. This out. So let's see what this bad boy looks like. Oh my.
So we're going to go ahead, this one we're going to take that back gouge and we're just going to clean that down to sound metal to where we've got a good even profile, and then we'll be able to fill this up, and then when we do the cut and etch, we'll be able to actually show you. All right, so we got the groove all gouged out. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break everything down, get it out in deposits, because if I weld over it as is, you know, even after I clean it up a little bit without a grind, get this cleaned up and set up. It's just the arc air folks said that it's accurate within 20 thousandths of an inch. It's in about 2 passes. Still in Florida. All right, she looks good. Let's see if she'll dance. So above flush, but less than 8, so I'm about 1/16 of an inch. So following that up with a automated weld track.